It's important to learn how to interview effectively for a new job or as an expert in your field. In this video, you're going to learn skills and techniques to help you with both. Let's start with the job interview. We're here at a company that currently has several open positions. One of those positions is marketing manager. Derek is in the middle of an interview for the position with the company's senior marketing director, Jennifer. We're going to see important moments of the interview so you can observe some of the do's and don'ts of a successful job interview. Pay close attention to Derek's responses and his overall technique when answering Jennifer's questions.
This is a fast-paced environment. You'll be handling several projects at once. How are you at time management?
Very good. My last job was with an internet startup, so I became especially skilled at juggling multiple projects. I also volunteer in the evening as a tutor with a foster care program. I work with kids of various ages, so I have to change focus every hour when the next student arrives.
Derek looked and sounded professional as he described his experience in his work and personal life. He avoided a one-word answer and took an opportunity to expand on Jennifer's question.
Our line of products is pretty broad and fairly complex. What experience do you have marketing to different target markets?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not at all familiar with your product line. But, Jennifer, we both know it doesn't matter what you're marketing or who you're marketing to, marketing is marketing.
Derek missed an important opportunity to align his skills with company objectives by not researching the company before the interview. To cover for his lack of specific information, he was too glib and casual with Jennifer. Let's see what happens when Derek manages the question in a different way.
Our line of products is pretty broad and fairly complex. What experience do you have marketing to different target markets?
While I've reviewed your website thoroughly, I admit I'm not a product expert yet. I believe by studying product data and talking with your product managers, I can get up to speed quickly on the features and benefits targeted to your audience. I'd also like to mention, Jennifer, that I've taken several workshops on market segmentation. I take my professional development seriously. I would definitely sign up for workshops specific to this position.
This time, Derek's answer makes it clear he did his research. He also provides a plan for developing knowledge and skills that are important to his role as the new marketing manager. In the end, Derek demonstrated the following important interview skills and behaviors that I hope you'll incorporate into your next interview. He looked professional and presented himself well. He researched the company. When answering Jennifer's questions, he conveyed his best qualities and personal strengths. He elaborated by giving examples when answering close-ended questions. He assessed himself fairly and admitted when he didn't know an answer. He identified steps to prepare for the job. Now that you understand job interview skills, let's see what skills are needed to effectively manage an interview when you're being interviewed for your expertise. In this portion of the video, you'll learn how to manage an expert interview and make a good impression. Craig is a talk show host. Wendy is a film professor at a local university and is a screenwriter herself. In fact, she just won a coveted short film award. She's here to discuss the award and tell us more about her craft. Pay close attention to the way Wendy handles Craig's questions.
Our guest today is Wendy Reynolds, award-winning screenwriter and university professor. Wendy, you've written several features and a number of short films that have been well received. Tell us about your writing process. Do you write every day or do you wait to be inspired?
The truth is, I get up every morning and after my tea, I just sit down and write. Sometimes the first hour or so isn't very productive, but I find if I stay focused, the story begins to take shape.
Sounds like it takes more discipline than inspiration.
I'd say it's equal parts of both, and plenty of tea.
You've been doing this for a long time. Has writing become easier since you began in this field?
No, not at all. I think I'm a better writer today than I was years ago, but it hasn't gotten easier. After my first submission won an award, I felt twice the pressure on my next project. My expectations of myself rise with every script I write.
So how is writing a short film different from a longer feature film? More or less challenging?
I find that structurally, shorts aren't really that different from feature-length scripts. But what really interests me, Craig, is that you start in the middle of the action and get to the conflict much more quickly.
Wendy was dressed appropriately for the interview setting. She appeared prepared for the questions and was comfortable talking about her experience writing short film scripts. She offered informed answers and also shared her personal view. Throughout the interview, she was pleasant and relaxed.
Welcome back. We were just discussing the difference between short and feature-length films with Wendy Reynolds. Tom Webster, another screenwriter who's been on the show, told us that he thinks those who create short films are basically just lazy writers. Any thoughts about his comments?
Webster? I've never heard of him or any of his films. And frankly, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
When asked a controversial question, Wendy lost her professional composure. Her quick defensive response did not offer any factual information. Let's see how she might have handled this particular question better.
Tom Webster, another screenwriter who's been on the show, told us that he thinks those who create short films are basically just lazy writers. Any thoughts about his comments?
I'm not familiar with Mr. Webster's work, but personally, I believe it takes tremendous skill to tell a good story with intensity in a short time frame. To create characters that the audience connects with is a real challenge. I find that challenge compelling.
This time when asked a controversial question, Wendy took her time, gathered her thoughts, and gave a definitive answer to the question. She did it in a positive manner, drew from her expertise, and maintained audience engagement despite a difficult question. Wendy presented herself well, and throughout the rest of the interview, continued to demonstrate that she is an expert on writing short films. Her interview was interesting and enlightening. When you're called upon to interview for your expertise, here are some other tips to keep in mind. Clarify the objective of the interview, and when possible, request interview questions in advance. Review your past interview responses. Finally, make a list of potential questions and practice your answers. Now you've seen basic strategies for an effective job interview and expert interview. I hope that you'll build on this information and personalize it as you create your own interview success stories.